Dear students, good morning. We are team Gyan Setu. Today we will be dealing with the topic oxygen dissociation curve from respiration. Some of the topics in the NEET are NCERT based, but the concept is not clear as NCERT is giving only a few lines about this. Otherwise, if you see the NEET questions, this topic is directly related to the Bohr's effect. How Bohr gave its effect, how the Haldane came into light. So let us discuss this topic. You see this video till end so that you are able to solve the NEET questions based on the Bohr's effect. 5 marks per question are lost if you will do it wrong. So you see this video till the end. To start with, we will be dealing with oxygen dissociation curve. On the x-axis, you take the partial pressure of oxygen, and on the y-axis, we will be taking the percentage saturation of hemoglobin with oxygen. So this curve is in relation with the oxygen and hemoglobin. The basic curve is sigmoid curve. If we take the partial pressures as 0, 20, 40 and so on till 100. We will see that the partial pressure is 25 millimeter of mercury. Oxygen partial pressure is if 25 millimeters of mercury. The hemoglobin is 50% saturated. The basic value is given to be P50 value by the Bohr. Bohr says the percentage of hemoglobin at which oxygen with hemoglobin is 50% saturated, that point is called P50 value. The P50 value is therefore the 50% saturation at 25 millimeter of mercury. Now we will be discussing this curve in the 2 points. Let us take this curve, what happens in the tissues. In the tissues you will see that this is alveoli, this is our heart, these are the blood vessels, and these are the tissues. These are the tissues. In the alveoli, the partial pressure of oxygen is 104 millimeter of mercury. But as it diffuses into the heart deoxygenated blood was having partial pressure of oxygen to be 40 millimeter. So it readily diffuses into our blood. Now the partial pressure here increases to 95 millimeter of mercury in the arterial blood. It increases to 95 millimeter of mercury. Then in the tissues it was 40 millimeter of mercury. So when it passes through the tissues, the oxygen readily diffuses into the tissues. How this happened? how the oxygen dissociation curve is related to this Bohr effect. In the tissues, carbon dioxide partial pressure is more. So that means carbon dioxide is also having a good affinity for the hemoglobin. So that means oxygen will have to leave the hemoglobin and it readily diffused into the tissues. In that case, if we will measure our curve in the tissues, our curve will shift towards the right side. The same P50 value which in the normal curve was achieving at 25 millimeter of mercury, now that will be achieved at 40 millimeter of mercury. But this is not our reason, or this is not our answer. Then what is the answer? Our answer is, in the tissues, carbon dioxide partial pressure is increased. pH of the tissues is decreased due to increase in hydrogen ion concentration. How this happened? Bachche, in the RBC, you can easily see as the carbon dioxide enters the blood, it mixes with water and forms H2CO3. H2CO3 readily breaks into H ions and bicarbonate ions. Here is another important question, that whenever carbon dioxide binds with the water, it is in the presence of carbonic anhydrase. This is another question. Carbonic anhydrase concentration is more in the blood than in the plasma. So, in the blood already there was oxyhemoglobin. Now we are saying oxygen has left the hemoglobin as the partial pressure of carbon dioxide was more in the tissues. So what happened? Hemoglobin combines with the H ions to form the hemoglobinic acid. Now hemoglobinic acid will be formed, then bicarbonate amount tends to increase. Concentration tends to increase and it tries to move into the plasma. There it forms sodium bicarbonate. Now the body says, how we have taken bicarbonate out of RBC? Because it was carrying already negative charge on it. So it demands compensation for it. So what happens? Chloride ions from the plasma tends to move into the RBC, and this here is known as chloride shift. And in the RBC, K ions are present and now Cl has entered and it forms KCl. So this is another important phenomena dealt with this carbon dioxide transport. Now bachche, we have already shifted the oxygen into the tissues and we call it as Bohr effect. Bohr effect says when the concentration of carbon dioxide is increased in the blood, so H ion concentration is increased, and due to acidity, oxygen tends to leave the hemoglobin and it readily transfers into the tissues. This effect is called Bohr's effect, and in all these cases our curve shifts towards the right side of the blackboard. And if I take this curve to the alveoli, in the alveoli, the partial pressure, if I want to stay at my point, that is the P50 point, then that point will be easily achieved at 10 millimeter of mercury or 10 to 15 millimeter of mercury. At this point, the curve will tend to shift towards the left side. So there is another important NEET question in it, that if the fetal blood will be there, where the curve will shift? I will say the curve will shift towards the left side. So in the fetal blood there is no impurity, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is less, so your curve shifts towards the left side. So this is the oxygen dissociation curve, and now we can relate the Holden effect to it. What is Holden effect? You see bache, that in the alveoli the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is low and ventilation is there, so oxygen is there. So oxyhemoglobin is already formed in the alveoli, and oxygen has no tendency to leave the hemoglobin. So the H2CO3 ions, H2CO3 acid will not break up into ions. That means what will happen? The body will say no H ions can be formed, so acidity will be decreased, and H2CO3 will back change to carbon dioxide and water, due to which carbon dioxide pressure is increased, and due to increase in pressure of carbon dioxide, it tends to move out of the blood. To understand more deeply, let us go back to the tissues. In the tissues, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 45 millimeter of mercury. But in the deoxygenated blood, it is 40 millimeter of mercury. So now from the tissues, carbon dioxide moves back to the deoxygenated blood. From there, it readily moves into the alveoli. The transporting of carbon dioxide from the blood to outside is called Holden effect. So Holden says my effect is more important. If you will not be transporting carbon dioxide out of the blood, how the oxygen will be able to pass into the tissues? So that was the fight between the Bohr's effect and the Holden effect. Do you understand this? So this is the total oxygen dissociation curve related to the Bohr's effect and the Holden effect. So now in the alveoli, partial pressure of carbon dioxide is decreased, pH is increased, H ion concentration is decreased, and temperature is decreased. That is what is happening if your curve will shift towards the left side. So in the NEET, when you will be getting this question, that what will happen if carbon dioxide is decreased, if pH is increased, if H ion concentration is decreased, if temperature is decreased, what will happen? You will say our curve will shift towards the left side. And if the question comes, what happens if the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is increased, pH of the tissue is decreased, H ion concentration is increased, and temperature is increased? You will say the curve will shift towards the right side. How much of the oxygen is transported? For that we will take that 100 ml of blood contains 15 grams of hemoglobin. 1 gram of hemoglobin carries 1.34 ml of oxygen. That means 100 ml will carry 15 into 1.34 is equal to approximately 19.8 ml of oxygen. Okay, so if we will measuring the arterial blood, 19.8 ml of oxygen is there, and after transporting it to the tissues, I have got 14.4 ml of oxygen. So approximately 5 ml of oxygen is transported to the tissues. So that is the another NEET question, that 100 ml of the blood contains 15 grams of hemoglobin. Now for that, 1 gram of hemoglobin will be carrying 1.34 ml of oxygen. So that means 100 ml will be carrying 19.8, or sometimes for calculator it comes out to be 20.1. That doesn't make any difference. So in the deoxygenated blood it is 14.4 or 14.8. So that means 5 ml of oxygen is transported to the tissues. So in this circulation, you can easily see how oxygen is transported to the tissues, what happened when the curve shifts towards the right side, what happens when the curve shifts towards the left side, what are the reasons for this shifting towards the right side and the left side. Thank you so much. Dear students, this was our oxygen dissociation curve. I hope you have well understood how it shifted towards the right side and towards the left side. For any of the doubts, you can put your doubts in the comment box. And regarding the oxygen dissociation curve, carbon dioxide transport and the curve conditions towards the right and left, you are most welcome. That is to the center Gyan Setu also, or in the comment box also. Next topics will be well discussed in our next video. Thank you so much.